This is a Yamaha PSR520. It's old, it's like a 97 unit, but it still works good, except the display. I'm not sure if you can see it. It's dead. So I found a new display on eBay, and we're going to take it apart and put the new display in and see if it works. Okay, so what I did was I flipped this over, put it on a big pad, and there's screws everywhere in this thing. All these have to come out. There's screws in the middle, screws up here, plus screws on the other side. 16 screws total. I'm going to pull all those out, and I'll be back in just a minute. Okay, so we got quite a collection of screws out here. This pile, this is actually from the front of the keyboard, which is where the keys are. This is the next row up, and there are two larger screws. And looking at the keyboard, so this is where the keys are right here. This is the battery box, and this one here and that one there, that's where the long screws go in the center. So you can see there's the bottom of the keyboard, below this line, right by the battery box, that one and that one. Those are the long screws. Now let's pull the cover off and see what we got inside. Okay, so the cover pretty much lifted right off, pretty easy. That's what we got going on inside. Here's where the keys are in the front. And way down in there is the display board. So the first thing I'm going to do is take a look at the new display board and make sure it's a match. I believe it is. And then we'll have to take this assembly off and get this out of the way so we can do some more work here. Back in a minute. Okay, when removing this assembly, these two long screws right here come out of that hole and that hole. If you have a magnetized screwdriver, you can pull them right out. Okay, so the next thing you got to do is prop this assembly up, and it turns out it looks like we are going to have to take this apart because the ribbon cable appears to be soldered inside there. On this board right here, which I believe is the backlight board, you got to take out, there's 4 screws. That comes up, and down there is the display board. So let's get the backlight out of there. I believe that's the backlight, and then we'll pull the display out. Okay, so there it is. This board just pulls right out. Then this goes over it, this lens, and the white piece of paper goes over the lens. There it is right there. I'm going to clean that off with some plastic polish, and then we'll start putting it back together. Okay, so I polished that with some of the Meguiar's plastic polish, cleaned it all off with a microfiber towel, and it looks really clean. There could be some dust there still, so we'll give it a dust off with some air here. Okay, I'm going to install the new display now, and I'll show you what that looks like. Okay, the new display is in. Make sure you take the protective film off the display. And what we're going to do is we're going to route this cable up behind this assembly here. Okay, there's the lens. Next on is that piece of paper, and then next behind that is the backlight. Okay, the piece of paper's on. That must act as a diffuser. Next thing we're going to do is get the backlight back in. We'll put this subassembly back down, screw it in place, and then we'll get to work on the ribbon cable. Okay, so on this ribbon cable connector, I'm not sure if you can see it, but what you do is you hook it on the side here. Sorry. And that pulls up. You do it on the other side too. See, that just pulls up, doesn't come out, just pulls up. And then the ribbon cable comes out. I'm going to have to pull it out. Okay, so I did. I pulled up both sides and the ribbon cable pops right out. The ribbon cable is in, so you got to push it all the way down and then push that locking retainer on the outside down, and that'll hold it in. Now I'm going to pick up the PC board and I'm going to push that cable underneath, bend it underneath this PC board. The foam that was on the original cable is pretty destroyed. I've got some other foam, so I'm going to make sure that I pad it where the shielded case goes on. Okay, there it is. It's all back together. Put the case on, try to clean up some of the cable routing here, and then we'll go fire it up and see if it works. Okay, here we are, the moment of truth. Let's see what we got. Well, it looks like it's mostly functional. Bear in mind, these are 30-year-old parts. So looks like there's a couple display segments missing. Could be I didn't get the ribbon cable in all the way. Could be in the board, but it's a lot more than I had before. So that is going to work for me. Yep. Anyways, that's it. That's the whole process. Good luck.